What's up, everybody? Good morning. There we go. Sorry about the delay this morning. We are live. Good morning. Make sure everybody got the message here. Good morning, Abyss. Hopefully I pronounced that right. I am tired this morning, guys. I don't know what's up. I'm on latte number 2 to keep me going here. Sleepy. I was super tired last night as well. I don't know what's up. Need to take some vitamins or something. But we'll get into it. I think this February market has made me sleepy. It's not wake me up when September ends. It's wake me up when February ends this year. Kzen, good morning. Welcome in. Go for a quick sprint. Yeah, I usually do run in the mornings. This morning I missed it. I was like, I can't even describe it. Like I woke up and I like physically like could not even get up this morning. I was so tired. I don't know what's up. Hopefully I'm not getting sick or something. But we'll go through the analysis and game plan for today as usual. Talk through some of the things that I'm watching out for here. The market has finally yesterday broken out of that consolidation range that we were in. It kind of happened late in the day and it was kind of a slow grind on ES specifically. So honestly, I missed it. I didn't take any trades yesterday. Yeah, the morning action was just a really slow grind for me. Didn't catch it, didn't really want to chase it, just didn't really see the setups that I like for it. So even though that part of the game plan that I had for kind of the breakout of that consolidation range did end up happening, it was a pretty just kind of slow grind, and I just didn't take it. If we look at the just going to review yesterday really quick with you guys here, for those of you on YouTube that may have missed it. Ahmad, good morning. Welcome in, man. So let's look at the chart from yesterday. Yeah, you can see the 15-minute chart here, right? So 15, 30, 45, an hour, hour and a half. So the first hour and a half, 90 minutes, we were just grinding in this range here. And honestly, I was just kind of calling it a day from there. I was like, yeah, we might, I was seeing a lot of buy pressure. I was looking for the long setups to get that breakout. But even after we did get that breakout, look at that just grindy channel, just very low volatility grind. I just didn't want to trade it. So didn't take it. All right. I called it a day and, went and did some other stuff here after this first 90 minutes or so when we were just grinding sideways in this box. Now, I will say I did regret not paying a little bit more attention to NQ. I was a little more focused on ES. NQ had a much nicer upside breakout move today with much better movement, volatility, and everything. So had I been paying more attention on the NQ side, likely I would have traded it on the NQ side. But that's okay. So let's get into, so that was yesterday, right? Let's get into the analysis here for today. Let me pull up my daily chart. Just going to run through this quick. And if you guys are just tuning in for my pre-market live streams, as you know, I do run the coaching group that I trade live with, but on Fridays, tomorrow, I trade live and do kind of a live session on Chart Fanatics. So if you guys are interested in tuning in for that, make sure you check out the Chart Fanatics live YouTube channel. Partnered with them, the Words of Wisdom team and stuff, for live streams on Fridays. So if you guys would like to tune in with me, if you're not in the Flipping Futures group, or if you are, anyway, you already know, you can tune in to trade live with me and read the order flow in real time with me tomorrow. Just throwing that out there for anybody that's not aware. All right. So Let me take a screenshot. Good morning, Zach. Welcome in, man. Of my chart here. Just looking at the daily chart of ES. Daily chart. You can see this sideways range that we've been in here. This area kind of around 7,000, 70, 30s has repeatedly been a key resistance area. This is also all-time highs here, contract adjusted. So this is a key area as well. And then to the downside, you can see, these couple key areas here around 6,800 and even slightly above that has held repeatedly on drops here over the last few months, right? Repeatedly held on drops here the last few months. And specifically, we've been watching this sideways range that we were in for 2 weeks here. Basically, after this drop to the lows of that range, we were basically just up, down, up, down, up, down. Now, yesterday, we did get a breakout. However, when we did it, it was, to be honest with you, after how much time we spent in this range, I thought we would see a lot more explosive rally when we got outside of there. And it was kind of just a steady chop grind, right? It wasn't a very explosive move out. It was just kind of a steady chop grind. I guess the market is very unpredictable, right? You never know what you're going to see. Even as long as I've been doing this, I still am always not surprised at this point. At this point, I feel like nothing surprises me, but it's just like, oh, okay, well, that was interesting. So we came up here, we're testing. You can see this area. I don't often pay a ton of attention to trend lines. It is something that I watch a little bit, but especially when I see key trend lines form on higher time frames like daily, 4 hour, I'll pay a little more attention to them. And you can see how we've held lower highs here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got briefly above it and then kind of rejected back down a little bit. We did have NVIDIA earnings last night after the close, right? So the market reacted off that. Honestly, the indices not as much. Let me take a look at NVIDIA. I haven't even taken a look at NVIDIA specifically here. I think it rallied. Yeah, it exploded higher and then wicked back down, and looks like it's pretty much consolidating right at yesterday's close. So I guess kind of a nothing burger there. So that's interesting. That could weigh on the markets a little bit here. So anyway, basically what I'm getting at is we were at the lows of this balance range. We consolidated a lot. We rallied out of it, and now we're kind of coming up to some areas of resistance that we need to watch out for. Right? The first one being this area around this trend line, right? Which is right around this last area. Look at all these wicks here. On this daily chart, you can see how we consolidated quite a bit here and then sold off aggressively from there. So this is a key area of supply, as well as this trend line also there, right? So this is kind of like the last little area of resistance before we go kind of back up towards 7,000 plus. So this was that last rejection under those 7,000s where we had this consolidation and rejection. This is kind of that point there, right? So I'm watching out for this. I'm not saying I want to short against momentum to the upside if we continue to see the momentum to the upside, but this was kind of like my target area for a breakout of this consolidation, right? And so now I'm kind of cautiously watching to see if we reject off here back towards this range, right? This range here. And if we do, if we either use that as a target for a pullback, if that holds to then go, actually break higher. right? Or if we break all the way back down in there, then that could be pretty weak, right? If we break out of a consolidation like this and then we reject and get back inside of it, that is a sign of weakness, like a failed breakout. We failed to sustain the rally, failed to sustain the auction outside of that area. Okay, so that's the context higher time frame I'm watching there. Let's take a quick peek at NQ. So NQ made a little bit stronger move yesterday, supported by IGV rallying, which is the software index that's been hit so hard this year. And so that has made a nice recovery back over 80 now, pretty strong bounce the last 3 days. So, or last 2 days, strong bounce. That has taken a lot of pressure off NQ and added a lot of wind in its sails. So that's why we saw more of an exaggerated move. Now, yesterday we just briefly kind of took these prior highs out right here and then kind of rejected back down. That was kind of, I think, going hand in hand there with the little end of day pump off. No, that, let me pull up NQ here. No, even after the close, after NVIDIA earnings, we never got back up there. So we took out those highs and then kind of rejected and consolidated right here, which we can see on this daily chart, right? So ES and NQ, as we can see here this morning, rallied yesterday and are both kind of at a key point for sellers to potentially resist. So on both of them, I'm now watching if we get continuation on yesterday's move and we break and hold, like a break and retest hold above these prior highs on NQ, or if we reject back in here and then likely at least just go retest the breakout of this consolidation above, 25,000, 25,200. So that's a key thing to watch out for here this morning on this one. All right, so let me redraw my volume profile on this area I've been watching the last few days. Last few weeks, actually, really. All right, so let's go back and look at this volume profile chart, 4-hour chart on the last couple weeks here. All right, so you can see we had a lot of consolidation built up here, right, that we rejected off of. And when we rejected off of it, look at like the low volume that we had. Now we've retraced back up in there. We had this big consolidation area, bell curve, finally broke out of it. And you can see we did hold a pullback into that key spot there, right there. That's a key area that I had mentioned that I was looking for the break and retest above. We actually did get it there. And then continue to rally higher into the target area that I had set up here. If you are on Tradeovate, this is Tradeovate here. You can click over on the drawing tools and there's a volume profile tool. So that's all you got to do. Just click on drawing tools and then you just click to where you want to draw on. Good question, Ray Marrero. Right, so now we've come up and we've rallied out of this consolidation area. We're now testing this area of supply, right? So now we have to wait and see a little bit here. Okay, do we break out of here and go back towards really all-time highs, right? If this holds a breakout, then we could move back up towards all-time highs here. Or do we again reject the supply area, lower high, we have that trend line, and then go back to retest this consolidation area. Okay. So again, on that multi-month time frame, basically since October, November last year, you can see we've been ping-ponging back and forth in this big range, right? And we're now coming once again back up to the upper portion of that multi-month ping pong range. So those are the things that I'm watching there. Again, ES was lagging behind NQ a little bit. Let's take a look at this now on NQ. Here we go. Right. So again, this, and you can see the volume built up here. Now, so we did, this is what I was talking about. If you look, we did just sweep out over these highs on NQ and then rejected back down. ES did not quite sweep out over these prior highs, right? So I'm cautiously watching this now. Is this a failed break of this highs that we now reject from here? Or, you know, is NQ continuing to lead and we're going to see another continued breakout towards all-time highs on ES as well, right? So very similar game plan here, testing this level. Do we kind of hold pullbacks, continue to break out above here at all-time high, towards all-time highs? Or, excuse me, or do we reject back down from here and go retest this area where we were previously consolidating, especially at least like towards the highs of that, right? So these are the kind of the key areas, key things that I'm watching. Do we break out and hold kind of above 25,400? Or do we fail to break out, drop back, hold, you know, pops fail below, really below like maybe 25,350, 25,300, and we move back towards, you know, 25,000 to 24.9 area on NQ. Both very similar, ES and NQ here as far as the context and scenarios that I'm watching out for. Yeah, the S&P 500, what I've shared my game plan on ES is the futures for the S&P 500. So that's relevant whether you trade SPX, SPY, ES futures, whatever, S&P 500. And NQ is the futures contract on the NASDAQ. So same thing whether you trade QQQ or NQ futures, whatever instrument you use for the NASDAQ or the S&P 500. Good questions. All right, guys, that is my analysis and game plan for today. We do have some news coming out. I should mention, which one was that today? We have initial jobless claims came out at 8:30 this morning. So that one's already out. I don't have too much else on my calendar. Tomorrow morning, we have PPI, which is a big one, and Chicago PMI, which is a big one. So tomorrow will also be, you know, some higher impact news. Okay. So that's the game plan, guys. That's the analysis. Thanks for tuning in. I will be back on tomorrow, but we will be on the Chart Fanatics live stream. So I will share the link for that on my Instagram as well. So if you guys want to connect with me on there, that's the best way to reach me via DMs or whatever. So I'll share the link. So if you want to stay on for the live stream tomorrow, I'll be on from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. tomorrow on the Chart Fanatics YouTube channel, Chart Fanatics Live. Right. And for those of you in the Flipping Futures, my private coaching and mentorship group, we will be live here in just a few minutes in Discord for the live trading session. I'll see you guys over there. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a good day. If I don't see you again tomorrow, have a good weekend, and I'll see you guys back here next week. Peace.